Okay, you're at the Watchman Way, July 18th, 2020. I told you guys I would talk about a couple of things. One is my Secret Service visit, and the other, I've had some requests to tell again the stories of me being called by God. So, let's see. It was probably 2 years ago, year and a half maybe. I get a knock at my front door, and there's two Secret Service agents that want to talk to me. And I talk to them through the door. We've got a speakeasy door, right, where you can open the hatch and look out. And so I talked to them for a few minutes just to kind of feel them out. They seemed like they were pretty good guys just trying to do their job, so I invited them in. I probably shouldn't have done that, but knowing everything that I know and how these guys will operate sometimes. And of course, when they show up, I mean, they show you IDs, but hell, if it's somebody else, I mean, you can get almost anything printed well enough to pass. You know, it's not like I know exactly how a Secret Service ID is supposed to be. So anyway, I found out later they called all three of my daughters, all of their husbands / fiance in one case, and talked to neighbors. And of course, when they do this, they can't tell them why they're doing it. They just tell them, you know, we're from the Secret Service and we're investigating Dan Bohan. We'd like to ask you some questions. Well, hell, my neighbors don't know if they're looking at me for an assassination attempt or a terrorist attack, or it's kind of a way to intimidate you, right? Because, you know, do what we want you to do, or we're just going to keep harassing you. Now, not that happened, but that certainly is, just think about, you know, if you were conservative in a liberal area like I was, you know, just going and talking to your employer can get you terminated, right? Of course, they can make something up and say it's whatever they want. But, you know, in the Bay Area, it happens all the time. Well, I really wasn't concerned about it. I've never had trouble finding a job when I wanted one. If you're good at sales, and that's what I was doing the last part of my career, you can find a job anywhere. Anyway, you know, they were very professional, but the crux was, and they weren't telling the truth, was that they first said that they were watching my live chats, and that I had said that I was going to execute Obama. And of course, my degree's in criminal justice. I know the law. I know exactly what I can and cannot say. And I never, ever, in all the time I've been doing this, ever said I was going to execute anyone. Now, I've said that Obama would be tried and executed for treason. I said that almost every day. And when I called him on it, I was very adamant. No, I never said that. Of course, they're trying to get me to think that maybe I didn't remember it, except for the fact that I'm very cognizant of these very issues, right? because I know I'm being watched, and I know if I say anything out of line, they're going to be knocking on my door. Well, I didn't have to say anything out of line. Well, after going around in circles for 10 or 15 minutes, well, our algorithms pick up if you say execution and a president's name in the same sentence. Okay, if that's the case, then you know that was said in this chat, and you're going to know when it was said. Don't tell me, as trained investigators, you didn't go and watch the video. And if you did, you would know that that's a lie, because I never said it. Well, bottom line was they backed way off. And basically what they wanted me to stop. They wanted me to stop the live chats. Now, this was actually, this was when President Trump was president. Now, I was a little bit surprised. Listen, they want to come talk to me, come talk to me. Don't ask me to stop my perfectly legally protected constitutional right to express my opinion. That to me was out of line. Never saw him again, although we did see sometimes they drive marked cars, and in the neighborhood, once or twice we saw a marked Secret Service car in the neighborhood, which we'd never seen before or since. And so you don't know. I mean, they could talk to 2 neighbors or 20 neighbors. Anyway, never heard from them again after that, but there were a lot of weird things that were going on with the broadcast, and we know that obviously we've been censored. Now, whether those things are connected or not, I don't really know. But so that's the Secret Service story. God calling me the first time was in 2014. I was at the Senior National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas in 2014. And after the first go-around, I was leading for the world title, leading for the average for the National Finals Rodeo. I was in the shower after that first night, and it was like getting hit by a bolt of lightning is the closest thing I can come to describing it, except that it was not a painful or uncomfortable feeling. It was almost like energizing when it happened. It was even more intense the second time, or maybe it's just because the second time was closer. That was in January. But anyway, that first time, God called me to be a watchman, to warn about the first ever worldwide economic collapse. Now remember, this is 2014. The economy, they had said in 2014, was recovering from the 08 crash. I didn't personally ever feel that. I always felt like, being in sales, that it was, that we never did really fully recover from 08. And then as it turns out, we didn't. But of course, at that time, I'm not even thinking about, really the economy. In 14, when he would call me, wasn't a priority, right? Things were going okay. We were making good money. They didn't seem as good as they were, but we were doing fine. So um, obviously, for everyone else, when I'm talking about these things, uh, they thought it was crazy because everybody then in 2014, oh, everything's great, the economy's recovering, blah 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 blah. Um, Also called me to warn about the worldwide swamp draining and the exposure and eradication of satanic pedophiles, and Litecoin and silver as ways to protect ourselves from the financial disaster that we're in the middle of now. So, economy, swamp. Now, this is after Hillary has, dodged I don't know how many bullets, Benghazi, uh, the emails, dodged that one. I mean, she is, if she hasn't already been executed, she's going to be executed for treason. They've got her on at least 4 or 5 treason charges, not counting the murder charges on the children. Remember, we're talking 2014 though. So the first, my first response after I'm called is to start digging. And I started with the economy and started digging into the economy and trying to see where the problems were and what would be the probable cause. And right away, now I spent thousands of hours on this, but within the first week I could see there were a lot of problems. Federal Reserve going off the gold standard, just to name a couple. And then, of course, the biggest thing was the worldwide record debt at that time, right? It's ballooned since then, but then it looked like it was, going to be the end, and it looked like it was going to be a lot sooner than 6 years later. That's basically where we're at now, right? Got into that. Of course, I had already been into, although we dug much deeper into, Clinton and Obama and everything going on for the last 100 years, really. All the abuses, all the overstepping, the globalist agenda. And then, of course, the last thing I dug into was the satanic pedophilia, mostly because, I'd known about that since I was a kid, but not the depth of the horror. Had no idea it was as organized and so tied into everything else. I kind of thought it would be like maybe the few people at the top, possibly, but I mean, there's going to be thousands of people, I think, that are executed worldwide for murdering children. That's going to be the hardest part of this for people to grasp. I think what's going to cause the most cognitive dissonance is the scope of the satanic pedophilia, that it is everywhere in society. You can't find an area that hasn't been touched by this influence. And of course, they used it as a control structure because, to be part of the group, right? To be the elite, to get into that group, you basically had to sell your soul to the devil. And when you did that, you had to go through one of these satanic rituals where you had to torture and murder a child so they could get you on video. Because then you could never talk. Once they got you on video, torturing and murdering a child, how do you ever come forward? How do you ever turn against them? You can't because you're finished. That's how you explain people like McCain and Paul Ryan and Rubio. I think Graham. I think Graham is in on it too. Um, the Bushes. I mean, people are going to be surprised how many Republicans are involved in this. Now, there's far more Democrats, but it's scary how many Republicans, so-called Christians, were involved in this satanic pedophilia and ritualistic murdering of children, torturing and murdering of children. They got to torture them to get the adrenochrome levels up. It elevates the adrenochrome levels when they torture them. That's the whole point. And then they think that the adrenochrome makes them live longer and gives them a high. And when you look at some of the pictures of some of these celebrities like Ellen, Bill Clinton, there's several. That you look at pictures like a year ago or a year and a half ago and look at them today. Oh, another one. God, Celine Dion, death warmed over. Looks like she's ready to go any day now because they got their adrenochrome supplies cut off. That's how you know it's working. When you see these people looking like that, the most powerful people in the world, and they can't get it, you know President Trump's doing his job. Because if anybody can get it, the elite can get it, and they can't. They're on the run. This thing is over. So that was the first time I was called. And it was a process from 2014. And remember, there's no manual for this job. I'm kind of fumbling along, using my head and figure out the best way to wake up. And my job was wake up, red pill, and prepare as many people as I could in the time that I had. No, wasn't given any dates, and everything that God showed me, everything that I've been talking about is coming true. Every single thing. I've been off on the timing of it. And I've said from day one, I'm going to be off on the timing of it. I'm always going to be early because you can't be a watchman and be late. Just the fact that all these things are happening, even though some of them years after I, came forward and started talking about them, it was still the right way to do it. People say, well, you talk about the dates, you chase some people off because you're wrong. Well, whatever. But even those people that maybe thought I was wrong had gotten prepared, had bought silver and Litecoin and food, and were ready for it to happen. So, best I could, and we'll see, but it looks like maybe tens of thousands of people are ready for what's coming, which is more than I could ever hope for. And then, of course, the last time was in January. And in January, I was in the shower again. And this time, God called me to lead the revival of his church, the church that Jesus taught 2,000 years ago, called the Way. It's not a religion. It's a way of life. It's how you live your life. There's no buildings. There's no hierarchy, no priest, no pope. We're all the church. It's how we live our lives every single day. That's what God wants. Church isn't someplace you go for an hour and think you're good with God. You're not good with God when you do that. Trust me. That's not being a good Christian. Going to church an hour a week is not being a good Christian. Donating 10 or 15% of your salary is not being a good Christian. It's living your life in the service of others, telling the truth every time, trying to do the right thing every time, treating others with respect, no violence unless it's in self-defense. Donations go from our hands to the hands of the needy. There's no middleman to take a cut. It's the purest, and we, out of a lack of a better term, we kind of call it a religion, but it's not a religion. It's how we live our lives. Um, well, we've been saying since day one that we were all going to take all of the Watchmen, and we're up to almost 5,000 now. I've got 5,000 friends on top of that on my Facebook. We've got 1,500 from the Watchman page, and we go out. Well, we're getting 2,500 views a night now. And obviously this thing is growing. We've said from day one that we were all going to take part of our profits from our silver and Litecoin and pay it forward. Pay it forward to those that maybe couldn't get prepared, didn't know about it, but were in need as we go through this recovery phase. Because we're going to have a little rough patch here, I think. Again, depending on the SARA or the reset or exactly how it goes, exactly what kind of financial shape we're in, how much we end up with after all these asset seizures that are coming from these big corporations, it's still up in the air, right? We don't really know what we're dealing with yet. But there are going to be people, especially before we start talking about Nasara, who are going to be left out in the cold, at least for a period of time, as we transition and got back on our feet. God showed me basically that those donations are going to be designated as building the foundation of the way. God showed me that the way is going to be the biggest, again, for lack of a better term, religion in the world by 2040. So in less than 20 years, the way is going to be the biggest religion in the world. God also showed me that the Pope is resigning this year. The Catholic Church is going to collapse from the inside, and there's going to be 1.2 billion Catholics looking for a new home. And their way is here, ready and waiting. I've talked to hundreds of Christians over the last few years about what we're doing and now with the way and just the whole philosophy of what we're doing and living our lives in the service of others. And that alone attracted a lot of Christians, and a lot of was told about a lot of dissatisfaction from Christians in the way the things they were taught, the things they focused on, the way they used the Bible, a lot of times as a weapon. God is not happy with any of that. He's not happy what church has become. God's not happy with how we use the Bible. It's not meant to be used as a weapon. It's not meant to be used to judge people. No matter what you may think, it's not our jobs to judge. That's God's job. I know there's some Christians that try and dig out passages and claim that God wants us to judge each other. That's not the case. You can believe whatever you want. I'm telling you from God's mouth, he's not happy with it. Don't judge others. And think you're good in God's eyes, because you're not. We are not meant to judge. That happens at the end. That happens from God. No one else. Not me, not you, not anybody else except God. And just think about all of the death and destruction caused by religion in the name of religion, just in the last couple of thousand years. I mean, look at the Spanish Inquisition. Look at how many people the Catholic Church murdered in the name of God. You think God's happy about that? He's not. Anyway, the other thing that I discovered is that it's like baptism, the connection with water. That's what I didn't know this until after the second time. But in just digging, I found so many connections and stories from people who had connections with God through water. I don't know how it works, but let me tell you, both times I was in the shower when it happened. So that hit me too. Like, wow. This when he showed me the way, and that's what he wanted me to focus on after we get through this first part. The first finish line is the arrest. Once we get to the arrest, then the watchman going to shift full time to the way. Um, God, where was I going? Well, anyway. It was the that feeling I got when he showed me the way and what our focus was going to be, and it because we've always talked about paying it forward, right? I never connected the two. I never thought, well, this makes perfect sense, right? But when he showed me that, it was like, oh my God, how did I not see this? Because it's the exact segue you would expect in this situation when we're talking about all these things, and we're talking about paying it forward, and just the whole philosophy of the Watchman. It is the way, and just that it was like I was so focused on what we were doing that it was right in front of my face and I didn't even see it. And then when it was shown to me, it was like, oh my God, this is so obvious. How did I miss it? Pretty humbling stuff, though, I'm telling you. So anyway, those are the stories of how it was called. And the other thing I've realized is that my whole life, I've been getting messages. I just didn't understand what they were. I thought it was coming from me, or my intuition or whatever. And I'm understanding now that it's my guardian angels have been talking to me since I was a kid. I mean, when I was 12 years old, I knew the Catholic Church was corrupt, and there were elements in our government that was corrupt. At 12, I could see the hypocrisy in the Catholic Church with all the criminals that belong to the church who go to confession on Sunday and think they were good with God. Well, most of those people are rotten in hell because it's a scam. It's not real. Just because you murdered 10 people this week and you went and confessed, basically to get through a loophole with God, really? You think that's going to work? No. There's a lot of Catholics rotting in hell that thought they were going to get a free pass. There's no free passes. It's about how you live your life. You're going to be judged by how you live your life. Plain and simple. I can tell you, if you're doing God's work and you're living your life in the service of others, you got nothing to worry about. You're going to go to heaven. No question. Thinking that you're going to heaven because you confessed your sins, not so much. You're going to have some trouble there, I think, at the end. Okay. Anybody has any questions? Go ahead and put them in here. Oh, Florida man who died in a motorcycle accident was labeled as a virus death by the state of Florida. There are case after case after case after case, thousands of them, where they purposefully, put in the virus as a cause of death when they knew for a fact that it wasn't. They got more money, and of course we know what the end game was, to get mail-in ballots and get President Trump out. Not going to happen. Virus victim. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. World suffers second straight record jump in virus cases. Death toll in the U.S. passes 140,000. It's not a pandemic. Let's see. Facebook deplatforms former employee who questioned BLM diversity narrative. So this is an ex-Facebook employee. They shut him down because he questioned the powers that be, the globalist agenda. This is from the protesters in Portland. They were terrified. Protesters fume about the feds brutally suppressing Portland's riots. They're bent out of shape because finally somebody stepped up to put a stop to this bullshit. It's classic. They're acting like President Trump's in the wrong. The National Guard is in the wrong for stomping him down when they're trying to burn down Portland. You see how ludicrous that is? I mean, yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked. And hopefully you're going to spend a lot of time in jail. Keep it up. Just that snowflake mentality. Mike, how dare you arrest me for, you know why? Because they got away with this shit for 10 years with Obama and even Bush. Well, we know Bush is dead or going to be dead. Him and the old man planned 9/11. A joke. Traitors among us. And they're used to having it all their way. So they can't believe when somebody actually enforces the law against them because they've never had it happen before in 10 years. Get used to it. The rule of law has returned to America. Declassified. Christopher Steele, his primary source was an employee of his. Non-Russian, was a contract employee. So I basically paid this guy to lie. And Steele basically, in his notes, destroyed the dossier. So where do they go? Unbelievable. New York Times Russiagate propaganda piece was shredded by Strzok's comments. Basically, everything that they surmised was false, based on Strzok's notes. some of these reporters need to hang for treason because they were involved in a conspiracy to take down our government and the President of the United States. It's treason. They need to be executed. Anybody guilty of treason or murdering children needs to be executed. We got to make sure this never comes back again. We need to eradicate it now. Iran puts air defense on high alert following unexplained blast. Remember, we've been talking. There's been 5 or 6 at least fires, unexplained fires / explosions in Iran. White hats taking out deep state black hat assets in Iran. That's what's going on. We're eliminating all of their assets. Rouhani from Iran, I think is the prime minister, drops virus bombshell. Claims 25 million Iranians are infected with the virus. 25 million out of there's less than 82 million in the country. 25 million are infected. Either they're lying through their teeth, and I think they're lying through their teeth, trying to get probably, humanitarian aid. That's 30% of the population that would be infected. Not true. Well, the only way it could be true is if they engineered it, that they actually infected these people on purpose. It's impossible for 30% of the population to be infected without some nefarious action. I think he's just trying to get, humanitarian aid. They're up against it. They're in bad shape. Iran is. A similar situation to China. The people are fed up. People around the world. I've said this before. We're going through an ascension here. We're raising our consciousness as a species. Just the example I used last week or so about Iran. A month. It's probably 2 months ago now. Might even be 3. They murdered 1,500 protesters in the street. The next week, there were several million in the street. Normally, when a government does that and drops a hammer like that with lethal force, everything clears out. Well, there were millions the next week. People are fed up around the world. They aren't going to take it anymore. They're willing to die for what they believe in. That's not a good scenario for Iran. It's not a good scenario for China. It's going to be the end of communism and the end of all tyrannical governments. And the world is going to support this movement. All part of the Great Awakening, all part of the greatest spiritual awakening in mankind's history. So we're eliminating 90% of the evil in the world. At the same time, the way is exploding. What kind of world are we going to have? Greatest transfer of wealth in human history. Man's greatest accomplishment of destroying this evil that's ruled over us for thousands of years. 1,000 years of peace and prosperity. Man's greatest age. Why are you fearful? Why are you worried? Why are you anxious? Why do you have anxiety? You shouldn't. We should be planning the victory parties, which may come this next week, because I still think on the 22nd, they're going to make announcements. I think that I think Nassar is coming. I don't know if it's going to come on the 22nd. I think on the 22nd, they're going to, I think probably maybe JFK Jr. might be a topic on the 22nd. I think Q, definitely. I think some of the people involved in Q, he said that all the identities were going to be revealed, or identities were going to be revealed. That basically they were going to bring everything out into the open. You know, I've been saying all secrets are going to be revealed. Nothing is going to be withheld. Everything's going to be exposed. I'd love for it to be next week. I think we're close, guys. It's coming. Whether the full disclosure is next week, you know, on Wednesday is the 22nd, I believe, or whether it's the start, it doesn't make any difference. We're there. This is victory. I've been talking to a lot of people lately who are having a tough time. And we shouldn't be. The tough time we should have been having 3 and 4 years ago, especially before President Trump was elected, because it looked dire back then. Today, victory. That's where we're at. Victory's going to be announced anytime. Good has defeated evil. I couldn't write a better script. I don't know what else I can say. I don't know, some of you may have heard about the Green Reset. It's going to revolve around the Green Movement. BS. Not going to happen. All hype. The reset is coming. The sorrow will be icing on the cake. But it's a mathematical certainty that there will be a reset one way or another. Let's see, okay. The White Helmet's co-founder defrauded the organization to fund his lavish wedding. These are the clowns that I'm sure were Soros-backed, UN-backed, that were creating all the, like they were responsible for the false gas attack in Syria, or the staging of the false gas attack in Syria, plus much more. Deep staters all the way. Okay, let's see what we got for questions. Okay, Edith wants to know how I figured out the messages that I thought were intuition were really my angels, because they kept coming true. Everything that they showed me, or that I got that I thought was intuition, came true. That just doesn't happen. I mean, everything. It was eerie. JFK's plane being seen in Virginia. All I know is nothing about that event when JFK supposedly went down on July 16th, I think, in 1999. None of it made sense. Listen, it was I think it was over 24 hours before they sent out a search party. For a Kennedy, are you kidding me? Never. It would have been 5 minutes. And they would have been asking how come it took them so long to get people out there. Made no sense. They're Catholic. They cremated him and buried him at sea? No. Somebody that prominent, Catholic, not going to happen. What was the other thing? They lied. They said it was instruments only navigation because there was zero visibility. There was 10 miles visibility that night, not a cloud in the sky. Why did they lie about it? The whole deal the dog goes missing. They love that dog, wasn't with them in the plane, disappears from their apartment a couple of days later. Crazy fans stole it? No, a family member took it. Or it went to wherever they were going, right? I'm 90% sure JFK Jr. is alive. I feel if he's alive, he's going to be the next VP candidate. I think it might be announced this month. Remember, I think they announced Pence on July 15th, I think, of 2016, right? Yeah. Yeah, July 15th, 2016, right? So, anytime this month, they could announce him, I think, as the VP. We'll see how it plays out. Sean, what's up? Yeah, 0.04%. This is the flu, guys. Randy, what's up? Cecil, what's up? Gary 2, what's up? Yeah, Gary saw a video 50 or more executed or got life at Gitmo already. And I don't doubt that one bit, guys. Dennis, what's up? Yeah. Snowflakes are what? An insult. It's an insult to snowflakes to call these people snowflakes. Sasha, what's up? Donna, what's up? Jeff, what's up? They're all getting charged, guys. The rule of law has returned not just to America, but the world. 500,000 are going to be arrested worldwide. That's what's happening right now, I believe. Yeah, anybody with the name Stroke. I agree, Cecil. Don't jinx me. Oh, Lena's talking about the Bush 41 funeral where they all got the envelopes. So here's my take. After looking at this for a long time, I believe, based on the reactions of the people who got this thing, I believe it was a picture of Bush 41 hanging by the neck when they executed him. I think they gave a picture of Bush hanging to everybody that got an envelope. When you see the reaction of the Bushes, it's the only thing that makes any sense. You got hardly any reaction from the rest of these monsters. You can imagine them seeing that. They knew that was coming. Listen, they murder children. So seeing the old man hanging by the neck, big deal to them. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure it was that or something very similar. Jean-Marc, what's up? They just learned in Canada that Quebec PM was on the board of a pharmaceutical company that produced the vaccine. What a surprise. These people are so deep in this. They're all going down. Yeah, Gary's got a good point. I've experienced the same thing. Movies I used to love to watch, I can't watch them anymore because Tom Hanks is in them or somebody that I know is involved. No desire. We're still waiting. Still waiting on the granddaughter. The actual due date is today. We'll see. But she just went to the doctor yesterday. I think it was yesterday. There had been no change in a week, so we're waiting. Sometimes it does take some time to transfer depending on when you bought your Litecoin. Yeah, you can transfer it in 5 seconds, but sometimes, for example, if you buy coins right now in Coinbase, especially if you're a new customer within the last couple of months, you're not going to be able to transfer those coins out right away. There's going to be a several day period it takes for everything to clear, for the transaction to clear, before you're going to be able to transfer those coins. So it's common for exchanges to hold the cryptos for a time period after you buy them. The transfer of them itself is done in seconds. Well, listen, I believe when they get the black hat elements out of Iran, I think Iran and America will eventually end up being allies, and good allies too. When we get the white hats back in Iran, I think everything will work out. Gary heard Trump and Xi from China are working closely together. I believe that's true. I believe there are white hat elements in China working closely with President Trump and Putin. They're working on the I think Nasara or the reset, whichever one it's going to be, and the new gold-backed currencies, and getting everything lined up for this transition. Sam heard that Trudeau went to Gitmo this morning. I don't know. I can't confirm that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I believe Trudeau is dead before the end of the year. I believe Trudeau is going to be tried and executed before the end of the year. Yeah, the Secret Service has been listening to us every day since they came and visited. Yeah, Sean's talking about President Trump just a day or two ago, saying the next 8 weeks is going to be very interesting. I think that's what he's talking about, guys. He's talking about all this stuff coming out. Just think about a reset and exposing the pedophiles and draining the swamp. Crazy stuff. Oh, listen, there are going to be a lot of presidents, prime ministers, current and former, that are going to be executed. This is worldwide. No one is safe. The Pope, several U.S. presidents are going to be executed. I think the royal family, most of the royal family, I think is going to be executed. David, what's up? Cindy Lou, what's up? President Trump wins 2020 with 90% of the vote guaranteed. Yeah, Biden will be executed before the election, I believe. David's touting Carbon 60. I can tell you guys, all the members that are using it swear by it, including me. Binance is it's another exchange, guys. Just Google it. Something big is going to happen on the 22nd. I really believe that. 2 tweets from JFK Jr.'s account in the last week, and I think those are the only 2 tweets in the last several weeks. Both talking about the 22nd, next Wednesday. Thanks, David. Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, I got to think he's involved somehow. Somebody's saying he got life. Listen, Canada bought 6.8 million of Chinese security products for the embassies. Canada needs to put all of that garbage into the trash. You're gonna allow China to control your security systems? You freaking crazy? All they've got spy gear embedded in all of that stuff. That's why President Trump just shut out Huawei and ZTE, not allowed to sell in the United States anymore because of this very thing. Shelly, how you doing? Shelly's made a connection with her little fawn hanging around her yard. That's cute, Shelly. Wagging his tail. Do you feed him grain? Get some grain and feed him. Lance, it's not going to look like anything, guys. It's not going to make any difference to us on the street. A gold-backed currency, all that means is that we're going back to the way it used to be in America. Up until 1971, we had a gold-backed currency. Once we went off the gold standard, it allowed these criminals to print as much as they wanted. That's how we got in the boat we're in. They destroyed us financially by overprinting the currency, getting us into ridiculous debt. Yeah, Trudeau, they say Trudeau is Castro's son. Yeah, give it like 4 or 5 weeks, Paris. It gets better. Meant to be. I think the baby's going to be born on the 22nd. That's what I think. Has anyone heard that Roger Stone was a frequent visitor to Epstein Island, was caught with a young boy? Haven't heard anything about that. Not a peep. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think I would have heard something about it in the last 6 years if it was even possibly true. What are you doing? It's not a bath oil, Cecil. You're supposed to drink it. Yeah, wouldn't that be? Well, it wouldn't be funny. Um, Cecil breaks his neck because of carbon 60. Trying to get out of the bathtub. Diane's on vacation on the 23rd. Okay. I think the media is going down soon. Next week or so, we'll see. Somebody saying the bald bodyguard of President Trump is Q. He might be part of Q. He's not Q. 50, Prime Minister mentioned, yeah, Greece. Listen, it's gonna rock the world when people see the list of the guilty parties. It's gonna rock the world. Cognitive dissonance. Be prepared. It's gonna be epidemic proportions. Supposedly, Obama was shot in the back of the head. Supposedly. Too good for him, in my opinion, but whatever. Uh, the left, well, Gary's asking a question that doesn't make any sense. Do you think the left will actually let that happen in the next few months? It doesn't make any difference what you're talking about. The left has zero control. The only thing the left could do at this point is collapse the economy. That's the only thing they got left in their arsenal. They are done. So yeah, they don't control anything anymore. They might be able to bring the economy down. That's it. The economy's coming down anyway. And they don't want it to come down yet. The left would try and bring the economy down in September or October if they could. That's why I think the reset is coming before then. President Trump doesn't want to give them any ammunition, doesn't want to give them any chances at all. He doesn't, well, I think he would have to announce it in July, but I don't think there's a deadline that he has to meet. Last year, or last election, Pence was announced on the 15th of July. Yeah, Tom Cruise. Uh, yeah, so Shelley's saying uh, that it was, they know every, coming from Bush Senior, Bush 41. I'm sorry, they know everything. Signed, Bush Senior. The story is that Bush Jr. was the one that ratted out the family. So I'm not buying that. And that reaction by Jeb to me doesn't fit with that explanation. I don't see him having that kind of reaction to that statement coming from his father at that particular time. Yeah, Scott Borgeson is the CFR. He's involved with some shady stuff, hedge fund, and some technology that tracks shipping. And they're saying heavily connected to the human trafficking shipping. All of them are going down, guys. Well, Jerry's asking, would the black hats in China kill off the white hats in China? Well, I mean, listen, you could say the same thing here. Why didn't the black hats here kill off all the white hats? Because you can't. You can't do something like that. Oh yeah, I could care less. You know, Canadian, the mounted police, screw them. Trudeau will be tried and executed by the end of this year. Have a great day. Yes, Chrissy's asking about Maxwell's sister. She is married to Fauci. That's a fact. Gary is talking to Dennis about Ireland and England. Well, everybody's on board with what's going on right now, and they don't have any choice. I mean, this isn't like you can opt out. If you've got guilty parties in your country, the world's coming for them. The SEALs are going to be there. Get ready. Who in the hell is going to stop us? Listen, the biggest mistake that the globalists made was America was the muscle. We had the military. The problem for them now is even if they wanted to change it, what are they going to do? We got all the guns. We got all the bombs. They're going to do what we want them to do, or there's going to be hell to pay. They're not going to protect these monsters. There's nowhere in the world these assholes can hide. NSA, military intelligence, and the SEALs are going to make sure that every single last one of them gets the justice they deserve. Remember, they've been tracking every phone call, every text message, every email for over 20 years. They know who every one of these people is. Remember, they didn't think they had to worry about their communications because they were driving the bus. They were in control. It didn't make any difference if their calls were recorded because nobody was ever going to look at them. They were all dirty. But now it's a different story because President Trump's driving the bus and he's got control and he's got every single last one of those messages, those emails, those voicemails, those phone calls. And they're screwed because of it. And there's no one in the world. Pope, sorry, you're going to be executed. The Queen, sorry, you're going to be executed. Bush, 41. Bush Jr., executed. Clinton, executed. Nobody's going to get away from this. Every single one's going to get the justice they deserve. Chelsea, how you doing? Libby, hello. Good job, Chelsea. Yeah, listen, guys. All of this is intertwined. You can't believe to the degree. And again, these tentacles, it's scary how deep they went. We were this close from losing the world. Because if America went down, the whole thing went down. People don't realize that's what's going to scare the piss out of people, is understanding how close we came. They say Boris Johnson was executed. I don't know about that. And I'm not sure he was a good guy. You know, it's hard to remember, guys. This has been going on a long time. A guy could look clean today that was dirty as heck 10 years ago. They know about it. There's no statute of limitation on murder or treason. They're going to release everything. Everything that's hidden will be known, and I mean everything. Aliens. Alien civilizations in Antarctica. New technology. Cures for every disease known to man. Zero-point energy. Anti-gravity technology. Our history. The history of religion. How it's been manipulated. How the Bible was manipulated. All of this is going to be revealed over the next year or so. Huh. Let's see. The first ever worldwide economic collapse, the draining of the worldwide swamp, and the exposure and eradication of satanic pedophilia. And he's asking why none of it's come true? It's all true. It's all happening right now. You're a blind man if you don't see it. In denial. My God. Okay, Cecil. It's the Ledger Nano S. Talk to Kevin Owens, 702-325-9258. Randy took a gun safety class today. Good job, Randy. Shelly's going to give some veggies to her little fawn. It's nice, Shelly. Ledger Nano S. Buy it directly from Ledger. Lori, how you doing? Hut One. Well, get the X if you're going to use your iPhone. Get the S if you're going to use your computer. Talk to Kevin first. Good job, Paris. Keep pushing. Yeah, that's another point. Um, Another reason, and it's not the reason, but it's actually a benefit, a side benefit. The cartels have warehouses full of old US dollars they're never going to be able to trade in. They're not going to have the time to do it. All that money is going to be worthless. Good luck with that, cartels. Yeah, from a limo driver, guys, trust me, if they had anything, well, if if Stone was a satanic pedophile, he'd have been in the club. He'd have turned on President Trump. Tina's birthday on the 22nd. Are you guys really putting C60 in your baths? Oh my God. Uh, Dawn is saying that the new batch tastes terrible compared to the last batch. I don't know about that. I've never noticed a difference in the taste myself. And I've been taking it for 5 years. No one thought priests were pedophiles 20 years ago. This year, the Catholic Church is going to announce that 50% of Catholic priests are pedophiles. The Catholic Church is going to collapse from the inside this year when the Pope resigns. And the Pope is going to resign this year. If it's a stronger flavor, it just means there's more carbon 60 in it. That charcoal flavor. Yeah, do what Roxanne does. Mix it with your vinegar and make salad dressing. Well, yeah, I don't think Biden's picking a vice president because I think Biden knows he's not going to be around long. He's waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, Jeff had a childhood priest arrested for being a pedophile. Way too many of them, guys. 3,000 U.S. soldiers landed in northeastern Greece today. Something going down with Turkey, maybe. Syrian children, organ harvesting Syrian children. These butchers are going to hang. Well, the thing is, most of our members don't need a lot of different wallets. So, like me, the S is fine, and it's less expensive. Bush Jr. was a buffoon. The only way he got elected was his old man. Um, there's not going to always be the yin and the yang. We're gonna eradicate the satanic evil, and we've gone way overboard with the evil in the world. Um, the world is changing, guys. It's not going to be the same world. You want to live in that old paradigm, you go ahead. But the world is changing. We are raising our consciousness. Good is defeating evil. We are in, well, the ultimate battle between good and evil just ended, and good won. Wait till you see what comes next. Yeah, I don't mind the taste. I like charcoal. Nothing better than a burnt steak. Gordon Lightfoot Sundown. What the? Nothing wrong with Gordon Lightfoot. I like Gordon Lightfoot. That was a good song. Well, that's the other thing. You know, I keep saying the black hats can't do anything right, and President Trump can't do anything wrong. Laura, what's up? Yeah, good one, Cecil. Well, it wasn't, the evil wasn't allowed to flourish, guys. The evil just took what they wanted, and more and more and more. Our assets, our children, our countries. President Trump already stopped the negative 5G rollout. Go back. It's been probably a month ago now. President Trump signed an executive order that gave him 100% control of the technology surrounding 5G. Then he outlawed Huawei and ZTE from selling products in the United States. He's not going to allow the negative 5G in America, guaranteed. Money is not evil. Money is a tool. The love of money is the root to all evil. Not money, it's the love of money. God has given us this gifts of wealth so that we can pay it forward, so we can use these tools for good. It's it's the elites who wanted the sheep to believe that money was evil so they could collect it all. It was psyop. This has been a psyop for thousands of years, guys. Thousand years of peace and prosperity. We're going to know this before the election. We're probably going to know this next week. This is all going down before the election, guys. The Barron Trump book, it's a book, well, you know what? Maybe I'll try and get a copy of it and go over that. But Google it. It's pretty interesting. Shelley's 31-year-old daughter is starting to wake up after she blocked her and wouldn't talk to her. That's par for the course, Shelley. Cheryl, what's up? Thanks, Roxanne. Jeff, what's up? Bill, what's up? Uh, yeah, Freemasons, they're part of the equation, but they're at the bottom end of this thing. It's the elites, the cabal, the Illuminati. That's who's been at the top of this thing. Yeah, good night, Roxanne and Bandit, the official mascot of the Watchmen. Sarah wants to know about the emergency broadcast system going into effect. It's only going to go into effect if we get the 10 days of darkness. And the 10 days of darkness that we've talked about, and I think Q has talked about, supposedly all communications will be down. TV, radio, internet, phones, text. The only communication will be the emergency broadcast system through our phones. We'll see. Some people are saying it's going to start on the 22nd. I don't know that we're going to have it for sure. We'll see how it plays out. Got to be ready for it, though. Be talking to your group. You got to have a plan for this if it goes down. I think everything's going to be fine. I don't expect any problems if it goes down. Obviously, we won't be broadcasting for 10 days if that happens, unless President Trump wants to give us an exemption, which would be awesome. Let the Watchmen be the only ones reporting. Face off? Yeah, Shelly. Carla bake some homemade bread. Good job, Carla. Oh, it's not 1 mil, guys. I recommend 15 mil. 15 mil is what I take, and then sometimes I'll take 30 mil. I'm training hard or whatever. If I was competing, used to take 30 mil all the time. Um, 15 mil at breakfast, 15 mil at lunch. Don't take it at night because you'll have a hard time sleeping. At least a lot of people do. It was allowed to flourish because we let it happen. The warning signs were there and we just ignored them. Carbon 60 is a supplement. You can get it at Amazon. We use good and cheap carbon 60 in olive oil. Just look at some of the comments. A great supplement, helps pain, it helps with longevity. Within 5 years, everybody in the world is going to be on carbon 60. Chrissy, what's up? David Icke, yeah. David Icke's been around a long time. I got to give that guy credit. He's been talking about this for years. There's nothing wrong with money, guys. The elite want you to think there's something wrong with money. That's what it's all about. We're going to do a lot of good with these gifts from God. We're going to change the world with these gifts from God. Rita, what's up? The reason for the 10 days of darkness would be to keep the general public in the dark when they were doing the takedowns. Obama, Clinton, all the left criminals. Again, I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen. I don't know if we need it to happen. But again, I don't make that call. Tony, what's up? Jerry, I talk about Nibiru all the time, or I have talked about it many times. Yes, I know about Nibiru. And I will talk more about it if I see that it's a potential danger to us in the future. And at this point, I don't see it. Yeah, definitely. What's going to happen, guys, is we're going to have a new mainstream media or a new media. It's going to be different, completely different than it is now. The old mainstream media is going to be completely shut down, taken over, seized. Yeah, a bottle of carbon 60 should last you 1 week. If you're taking 15 mil a day, it's going to last you 7 days. Yes, the chemtrailing. Listen, they started the new revolution, the new American Revolution, July 4th of 2019. That's when they took out the base in China Lake. That was the main chemtrailing base in the United States, was at China Lake. Since then, I know in California, we'd have 10, 12 chemtrail every day minimum. After that happened, we'd have, in a month, we'd have 2 days maybe of chemtrailing, when we'd have 25 days of chemtrailing up until that point for years. So the chemtrailing is, for the most part, done. Thanks, Allison. Tina, you're on a double dose. If you're going through a bottle every 3 days, you're on a double dose. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, and if you're doing good with it, I would keep taking it that way. But you don't need to. The other thing I'd do is I'd split it up. If you're going to take that much, take 1 tablespoon in the morning with breakfast and one at lunch. I think splitting it'll help you absorb it better. Chrissa, what's up? Get Carbon 60 at Amazon or at Good and Cheap Carbon 60 and Olive Oil.com. Yeah, cartoon powder. Yeah, I've heard of it. Supposed to be good for you. I haven't gotten into it. I've been pretty busy. Yeah, that's the gold back currency, guys. That's done. It's waiting to go. As soon as the reset's declared, the SAR is declared, the gold back currency's ready. China has one, Russia has one. We're going back to real money again instead of this fiat garbage. Fiat currency is a currency that's not backed by anything. There have been over 2,000 fiat currencies since the first one in 1050 AD in China. Not one of them has ever survived. Not one fiat currency in history. The average is 34 years as the average length, the life expectancy of a fiat currency. We're at 49 years now. It's time to go. This is the last year for the US dollar, fiat dollar. The reason we recommend Good and Cheap, it's like $20 a bottle. There's some companies that are 50, 60, $70 a bottle for carbon 60. Oh yeah, I'm not going to do an update on Nibiru right now, guys. There's too much big stuff going on. Not that Nibiru wouldn't be big, but it's going to take something more coming out for me to talk about Nibiru right now. We got way too much to deal with. And there's nothing pressing on Nibiru. If it's coming, it's a year or two down the road. And again, I'll get into it when needed. Yeah, carbon 60, guys, I found out about it 5 years ago. God showed it to me. I rodeoed for 39 years. My knees were horrible. I couldn't, walking downstairs on uneven ground, on gravel, they hurt like hell. After 6 weeks of carbon 60, zero knee pain, I can run again. That was over 5 years ago. Still no pain. I also believe it extends human life. I believe 25 or 30%. Candace, what's up? Well, we don't really know for sure what chemtrailing is. We know what they say it is, but those are the same people that lie to us about everything. So I don't believe them. Ann, what's up? Tiffany, what's up? Tony and Rory, what's up? Well, what I'm saying, Tina, is don't take two teaspoons in the morning. Take one in the morning and one at lunch. And if your bottle is only lasting 3 days, you're taking 30 mil a day, basically, a little bit more probably. Then I recommend 15 mil a day is the average dose. That makes a bottle last a week. 15 mil a day, a bottle will last 1 week. Randy wants to know who in the media knows everything. Well, a lot of them know everything. I mean, good example. Chris Cuomo, Don Lemon, Jake Tapper have all been to Pedo Island. I'm pretty sure they know everything that's going on. I think most of the newscasters today know what's going on. They can't talk about it. They aren't allowed to talk about it. Remember, the black hats control the media. Look up Project Mockingbird. The CIA has controlled our media since the Second World War. Raina, what's up? Oh, it's okay. Pony's got to eat. Yeah, there's probably a few in the media that are, you know, part of the plan. Maybe Hannity. I don't know. I'm not impressed with Fox. You get 2 minutes worth of news in an hour show. I mean, it's garbage. They don't talk. When was the last time you heard Hannity? Listen, the biggest issue in our world is satanic pedophilia. When was the last time you heard Hannity talk about satanic pedophilia? Or Laura Ingraham or Tucker Carlson? Tell me when the last time they talked about satanic pedophilia. I wouldn't give you 2 cents for any of them. I won't watch Fox News. It's a joke. Turn it off. Yeah, Cuomo's scared to death because they know they're going to hang. So's Lemon. If they went to Pedo Island, you can bet there's video on them. If there's video on them, they're torturing and murdering children. What do you think's going to happen? They're going to get executed. Okay, guys. Not much time left. Wednesday, a lot could go down. Everybody's got to be ready. Extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, Litecoin. Anything extra you can get it. This could go down Monday. Wednesday looks like, this week looks huge. Don't procrastinate. Get your last minute phone calls in, your last minute text messages. Reach out to the people you care about. Now's the time to be bold. No sense in sitting back now. Go for it. Don't worry about ruffling feathers or causing an argument. We're still planting seeds. It's going to come back to us. Once these people see what we were trying to do, they're going to come back and apologize, most of them. Keep pushing. I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys, with our prayer. For God and country, amen. I'll see you tomorrow night at 5 Pacific. God bless.